Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and this is set number 71842, Rontu the Master Dragon from the Summer 2025 LEGO Ninjago wave. This set contains 381 pieces, 4 minifigures, and will retail for $49.99 USD, or €44.99 Euro. This set does not officially release until June 1st, 2025 in most parts of the world, and August 1st, 2025 in North America. If you missed it, I've already done early reviews of the rest of the Summer 2025 Ninjago sets, both the Dragons Rising and Ninjago Legends, so make sure to go check those out on my channel after this video if you haven't seen them yet. And if you enjoy this kind of content and you want to see more, liking the video and subscribing to the channel does a ton to help support me in the channel, and also helps YouTube to show you my videos more often. So thank you all very much for the support, and now let's get into the review. Okay, so, Rontu. This is a set that I was really looking forward to when it was first rumored. If you don't watch the Ninjago show, Rontu is a character who first appeared in Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 2 last year, so we've had her show design for a while, ever since early 2024. She's a fairly important character in the show, and we had her counterpart Egalt, he got a set, so this is one that I was really looking forward to. But then we got official pictures of the set, and I thought she looked awful. It looked nothing like Rontu, and it wasn't even that great of a dragon on its own. So I was very curious to get this in hand to see if it was just bad box art, or if it was actually a bad set. And now that I actually have this built up, being completely honest, I think it's a little bit of both. The box art certainly does not do this set justice. Like, in hand, it does look more like Rontu than it does in the box. But even with that being said, it's still a very flawed set, even if there is some good aspects. So let's move up a little bit closer and go through it all. We're going to start here at the head, because that's easily the weakest part of this build. Rontu here uses an all-new molded piece for her face and her upper jaw. That part comes in 3 different sets this wave in different colors and of course with different printing. It's the Guardian Dragon, the Destiny's Bounty, and this set. On the Destiny's Bounty, it's just meant to be a decorative dragon head, it's not a part of an actual dragon, so it's okay. But this set and the Guardian Dragon both do a very similar thing, where there is no matching, like, molded bottom jaw, instead they have a brick-built jaw. I wasn't the biggest fan of that on the Guardian Dragon either, but I thought it looked okay. This one, though, this looks horrible. This bottom jaw does not fit that upper jaw piece in the slightest. Because this upper piece is so intricately molded with all these little individual teeth, and then the bottom jaw is like this blocky structure right here. I really just do not understand why they decided to do this. I'm all for molded dragons. I'm also all for brick-built dragons if they wanted to go fully brick-built. But doing one brick-built jaw and one molded jaw, those two just do not go together. It's weirdly gappy around the sides and underneath because the bottom jaw does not extend out far enough. It's very awkward seeing all these intricate curves on the top piece and then it's very blocky and straight on the bottom. If this was like a mech dragon, it would be one thing. But on something that's supposed to be an organic creature, especially someone whose design we have already seen in the show, I do not understand why this was done. And then to top it all off, this isn't even the right head shape for Rontu. There's a little spike at the front of the head, which is like a cool idea for dragons in general, but that's just not how Rontu looks in the show. And I also feel like this head's a good bit spikier when it's more round in the show. I will say the eye printing did a good enough job to capture her personality, so with the proper bottom jaw piece, I don't think I would have minded this head. Like, yes, it wouldn't be 100% accurate, but it would at least look alright. But the bottom jaw's so bad that the upper jaw not being perfect either just really adds to how underwhelming this build is. Honestly, I don't see why they didn't just use the Young Dragon Ryu head. They've reused that head a few times for a few different dragons, and it's not perfect for Rontu, but I think it's closer than this, and that one at the very least has the bottom jaw molded into it, so it would feel a little bit more complete. But yeah, I could probably talk for ages about this, but I do not like this at all. She looks a little bit better maybe if the mouth is open, but no matter what you do, you can't really fix this. We do have some stickered scales here at the back of Rontu's head, and then 2 pink horns coming off with lanterns hanging off of them. That part at the very least is fairly accurate to how she appears in the show. I do think the pink horns are a little bit awkward because they almost look like tentacles, but that is the color they're supposed to be, so I'm not going to fault them for that. The head connects onto the neck on a mini ball joint, and there's a really great range of motion there, like you could pose this however you want. And then we come to the neck itself, which is another one of my major issues with this set. I will say the neck is one of the things in the box art that makes the set look worse than it actually is, because on the box she's posed more like this with the neck straight out. And in the show, I would say Rontu's most defining feature is her very long neck. She's a very serpent-like dragon, and like with her body and her head, the neck sort of makes like an S shape, where the neck goes up and the head looks down from that. I was worried you wouldn't be able to get that motion with this build because they didn't show it on the box art, and that's how she appears in the show, so I assume that's how they want to like advertise it. But luckily, yes, it can actually do that with the neck. You can have her head propped up like this, and this feels so much more like Rontu than how she appears on the box. That being said, it's still not perfect. I think the neck should be a little bit longer, and the biggest thing is they should have textured the underside of the neck as well. Because while you can pose it like this is what you're seeing from the inside of the neck when you do pose it like this. It's just a bunch of like ugly anti-studs and colors that Rontu is not supposed to use. If this was like 2 studs longer and then fully covered in pink tiling or maybe more of these stickers, I think that would be perfect. As it is though, it's better than I thought, but still leaves a bit to be desired. The head and neck are definitely my biggest criticisms of the set. The rest of it is fine, and we'll go through that in just a moment. I have a few small nitpicks in terms of accuracy, but I find accuracy a lot less important than just being a fun set. But if there's anything to be improved, it's those two parts. Rontu has these giant pink wings that attach at her shoulders. This is the same part that was used on Lloyd's Green Forest Dragon earlier this year, as well as the Ryu in the Combiner Mech set. Cool to get them in a new color. Again, in terms of like accuracy to the show, they're definitely a little big for Rontu. Her wings should probably be a little bit smaller, but I think this is fine. If she had a good looking head, I would not mind this at all. And it makes sense from a play perspective. I do think it's a little clunky the way they attach to her body. You can see there's a stud shooter on each shoulder, which is fine. It's good to have play features like that in a set. They shoot these solid pink tiles. But that's placed on top of a single 1x4 Technic brick, and the Technic parts to attach the wings sort of thread throughout that brick. So if you have the wings folded up at all, there's just random anti-studs right there. I feel like there was probably just a better way to do that. One compliment I'll give this set is I really like the shaping on the chest and the torso. They made her very bulky at the front, and I love just how round it all is. It's covered up from all angles too. I actually think it looks really nice, like there's not much I'd change about it. There is 2 clips in her back to hold minifigure accessories while minifigures are riding on her, as well as 2 different spots to put minifigures right. You can see there's a 2x2 area there and a 2x2 area here. Then as we move further in the body, you can see it becomes very thin and very blocky. The thinness makes sense, like it does seem like they're trying to capture her show counterpart, but I don't know if she's that thin. I think like this thickness right here would have been cool to keep all the way through. And I don't like how obvious these just solid brick beams are, especially transitioning from that very detailed front section. It feels like there should be a bit more here to really fill her out. I do like the use of the dark blue SCCBS armor pieces. Glad to see those are coming in more sets. Those were introduced earlier this year. But yeah, maybe put some brackets underneath as well and like Nexonite shields. It would only be a couple more parts, and I feel like it would do a lot to make her feel more complete. There is a little more bulk at the back here though, where the back legs attach. And this is another just kind of awkward thing. The Technic axle here is a little bit too long, so it just extends out the sides. If this was a car or a robot or whatever, I wouldn't mind that so much, but she already looks overly mechanical with that face. Having random beams sticking out of her legs does not help that at all. And then in terms of show accuracy, as I mentioned, Rontu's body shape is very serpent-like in the show, so this flat, thin area, it doesn't necessarily not work for her, but I would have loved if they somehow could have captured that curve of her body. It doesn't have to be major, just have it dip down a little bit and come back up a little bit. This just feels very flat and unnatural, especially the transition from here into here. And then at the very least, they could have implemented that curve here at the tail, but no, they made the tail so it only swings side to side, instead of also moving up and down. You can move this back section up and down, but at that point it feels a little too late. It's not like her body's actually curving. That one at the very least should be a fairly simple fix if you wanted to, just remove one of those ball joints. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like that serpent-like body is one of the things that makes Rontu feel so unique in the show, and not capturing it here is a disservice. Something else I guess to mention when it comes to the show stuff, a lot of the times the LEGO sets are designed first and then they get redesigned for the show, but for Rontu specifically, that's not the case because she appeared last year. She's coming out a year and a half after her first appearance in the show. Even if this set was designed for that wave and then got like delayed for whatever reason, because it was delayed, they did have more time to work on it. If they wanted to make it show accurate, they had the chance to. It just seems like they did not want to do that for one reason or another. At the very least though, at the end of the tail there is a quite cool part. It's this brand new wisp piece that comes in a few different sets this wave. However, I believe this is the only one where it's in transparent pink, and you get 2 of them here. I like the way that tops off the tail. It's a very fun like mystical dragon energy. The legs I think are okay, definitely better than some parts of the body. I will say Rontu's overall color scheme I think is super cool, having a purple and dark blue dragon. I haven't mentioned that yet, but it's something very fresh for Ninjago in the best way possible, which just makes me even more disappointed that it's not the best, because I don't have another set like this already in my collection. This is just going to be the only one I have. But yeah, using these curved tiles to create some textured scales is pretty cool. We've got some more stickered scales in the bottoms of the legs. They do use the SCCBS leg piece, which is a piece that I'm a fan of. However, I'm not a fan of just using that. I feel like that should be covered up a little bit more. There's just an open hole in the middle of what's supposed to be an organic creature, and it's really not that hard to cover it up. Just move this piece up 1 stud, move this down 1 stud, and it's going to be mostly hidden away. The legs on both sides are done in mostly the exact same way. And then I like the little rings around the feet. That's creative. It's very similar to what the Thunderfang set does, but it gives her some interesting texture. And then the dragon feet are good. They're not like super unique. We've gotten things like this before. It's built upside down, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, there's a mini ball joint here and individually posable toes. And then the back legs have a fairly basic hind leg design. Similar design for the feet too, though without that ring around them. And range of motion on the back legs, they can spin like a full 360. That Technic axle does prevent them from splaying out too much, which is a good thing. It helps keep the model stable. But I feel like there's probably a better way to integrate that without it looking like this. Literally just putting a black spacer piece on this I think would add so much. And front legs, once again, tons of motion. You are restricted by the wings directly above them, but you can get pretty high up. And this doesn't have that Technic axle getting in the way, so you can also splay the front legs out if you want. Because of the giant wings and the very thin back section, Rontu's also incredibly front heavy. accuracy, so that's something you have to be aware of when posing. Just another piece of info to add to the checklist of things that make this set not so great. But of course, there's still some fun poses you can get with her. If you have the other 3 legs on the ground, you can have her slash out with 1 claw. And for all my critiques of the neck and the head, they are posable at the very least, so you can get some expression out of the build that way. But yeah, overall, I am just disappointed by this set, and it's a shame because I know we're never going to get a better Rontu than this. This is just kind of what we're stuck with. The biggest thing for me is that brick-built jaw. That just looks terrible, awful. I guess if they introduce a molded jaw piece that also fits the colors of Rontu in the future, we can modify that. But that one small part of the build ruins the rest of it for me. It's flawed regardless, but I could look past show inaccuracies, because all that stuff can be modified. That jaw, though, takes this from not being a great Rontu build to not being a great dragon build in general. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think of this in the comments. Am I, like, totally off base? Based off the comments I've seen so far, probably not. I really don't like being this negative in reviews. Like, I always try to find good things to say, but I just do not understand what happened here. So overall, the build's better than it looks in the box art. I like that she can actually pose the way she does in the show, but still incredibly disappointing. There is one small side build in the set, this little stone structure, or gravestone, or whatever it is. This is the part of the build that's meant to interact with the revealing blade, which is the collectible of this wave. It's the collectible, but it comes in basically every set, and there's only one of them. But the revealing blade interacts with these stickers in all the different sets. The stickers usually have a combination of blue, white, and red on them, and when you put the blade over them, the blue sort of disappears and the white and red become one. So then it brings out this, like, hidden picture. I do like that play feature a lot, and I appreciate that it's a different sticker in every set. Obviously wish there was a bit more to this build because there's really not much to it, but I'm glad at the very least they still figured out a way to add that functionality here. But now, coming to the minifigures, here are the first 2 in this set. We have the new Spectral Suit minifigures for both Lloyd and Sora. Starting with their accessories though, Lloyd comes with the revealing blade, which we just looked at how it interacts with the set. Big transparent red blade with a dragon hilt. Very cool looking part, but comes in lots of sets this wave, so I've already covered it. Go check out my other reviews if you want to hear more about it. Then he comes with his movie sword with a little tassel underneath it. That's always fun to get. And then Sora comes with a lantern, which is a thing from the show, so it's neat to see that consistency, as well as just a standard gold katana. With those removed, though, here's a better look at just the minifigures, and these are the same 2 that also come in Lloyd's jet mech. So if you're going to get that set already, it does make this minifigure selection a little less appealing. However, if you're planning on skipping that set, you can get this one instead and get the same 2 figures, so that could be seen as a positive or a negative. They both use this brand new dragon armor piece, which looks so incredibly cool. It's still molded in gold and whatever the ninja's color is. So for Lloyd, it's bright green. For Sora, it's dark blue. And then all of the original ninja this wave have, like, the same general aesthetic down here. They use dark red on their belt and their knee pads, and then dark tan on their torso. Sora, unfortunately, does not use that color scheme. It's a bit of a shame. It would have been cool if she actually matched all the others. But at the very least, she does have a new suit, which I cannot say about the January wave. She's just still doing her own thing. The only thing that's similar about her and the others is the armor and this little tassel that hangs down. The armor pieces can hold 2 katanas out the back, just like the original ZX armor. And then removing the armor pieces, there's a better look at the back torso prints for both of these minifigures, as well as them from the front. I really like this dark red armor that Lloyd has underneath his robes, and then he still has his movie face print. While Sora's outfit just looks really elegant. I really like her color scheme in general, so it's always really fun to get new outfits of it. And I like that she still has the little cat. Overall, great minifigures, and I'm happy to have them in a cheaper set. Unfortunately, they are probably the main draw of this set, which is disappointing to say. And then here are the other 2 minifigures in the set. We have Wyldfyre and we have Zarkt. And neither of these 2 are new, so I won't spend as long on them. Especially Wyldfyre, because this is the same one from March 2024. And I love this minifigure, but oh my goodness, she has come in so many sets now. This is an incredibly common minifigure. So I don't know what I could say about it that I haven't already said. It looks great. I love the little red detailing on the torso. Her colors are amazing. I think it's cool how the dark tan still matches the rest of the ninja. But I really wish she had a new face print, because I hate how she's stuck with just one expression. Even though it's a good expression, she should have 2, just like the rest of the ninja. Also, this little fire design on her back's really cute. Great minifigure, but super common, so not really a draw for this set. I wish she got a new suit, just like Sora. Zarkt, though, is actually pretty exciting to get. He's one of the members of the Forbidden Five, and this is one of 3 sets that he comes in. His first set was back in March and it was $100, and then he's also in a $200 set this wave. So if you don't have this guy yet, this is by far the cheapest way to get him. And he's got an awesome design, even if he was a bit of a fraud in the show. He has this unique molded helmet piece, and I can take that off so you can see his face print. On one side, he's got this very angry expression, and you can see he's got red eyes and purple stripes. And on the other side, it's a little more neutral, but still angry. I said in my last review of this guy that he's a panther. I thought that was confirmed. Apparently it's not confirmed, so that's just my theory. I got so locked into that theory I thought it was real. But yeah, we know all the Forbidden Five are animals, and he's the only one we don't know what species he is. Such a sick torso design too. It's on top of the dark green. There's like these purple tendrils like clawing their way out of his body, but it's all locked up with these golden chains. And dark green in general is a really cool color for a Ninjago villain. one, because that's typically a color that Lloyd uses, so we don't see it on the villains too often. That purple symbol on the back is the symbol of the Forbidden Five as well. So very cool minifigure to get. Even if he's not new, I'm happy to have him in a cheaper set. It's good that the Forbidden Five are becoming a little more accessible, at least the ones from the first two waves. But now we come to the end of the video, which is the point where I talk about the price, and as if this set could not get any more what it is, the price of this set, not great either. It's €45, which is the price I'm going to be going off of for this video, because everything's more expensive in the US right now because of factors outside of LEGO's control. But even 45 for this feels silly. This should be like a 40 set maximum, probably like 35. It's not like the worst price set ever, but it's a little small for what they're charging. And then that on top of all the criticisms I've had throughout this video, yeah, I'm incredibly disappointed by this. I think what bothers me the most is the fact that you can't really customize it and fix it easily. Like, I'm sure people are going to try, and I'm sure we'll have better versions than the official set. But at the end of the day, the only thing that's really going to fix this is a new molded lower jaw piece to match that molded upper jaw piece. Without that, she's always going to feel a little bit off. And then yeah, everything else I mentioned. The neck is covered in anti-studs and it's not long enough. And speaking of proportionally, she's very off from how she appears in the show. She's very blocky in a lot of places, very thin in a lot of places. I love medium-sized dragons like this. I was very excited for a new Rontu set, and it kind of just went wrong in every place that it could. In terms of positive, I really liked the sculpt on the front of the chest. I thought that was pretty good. I was appreciative that the neck could actually pose like it does in the show, even though they don't show that in the box art. And the printing on the Rontu headpiece was better than I thought it would be in terms of show accuracy. But of course, there's still the whole bottom jaw issue. So would I actually recommend that you guys get this set? Probably not. The only reason I would recommend it is it does have a fairly good minifigure selection for the price that they're charging. This wave of Ninjago is very expensive overall. There's a ton of huge sets, and I know not everybody has a ton of money, right? It's not super easy to just drop $100 on a set. I know when I was a kid, I got like $100 set a year, so I can't imagine what it's like trying to collect this wave as a kid today. So with that in mind, if you're a huge fan of Lloyd, a huge fan of Sora, or a huge fan of Zarkt, this is the much cheaper way to get those minifigures. All of that being said, if you do have a bit more of a budget for Ninjago, I think the Mech Jet is a much better set. So if you're interested enough in that set to potentially save up for it, I think you're much better off waiting for that one than trying to buy this one right now. Because even though it's a very similar minifigure selection, that one is better, and you get a much better build with it. So yeah, ideally I would like to see them retry Rontu in a couple of years and make her a little bit better, but that's probably not ever going to happen, so this is kind of just what we're stuck with. I'd be curious to see if anyone could try to improve her, but at the time being, yeah, I'm very underwhelmed. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. As I mentioned, I have 4 reviews of most of the other Summer 2025 Ninjago sets up right now on my channel, so go check those out if you haven't yet. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!